starting to grow. So we are here with the one and only Animes. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah. Welcome to Smoke's World. It's Smoke's World. It used to be called Smoke's World Podcast, but now it's called Smoke's World Media. So welcome to Smoke's World Media. You know what I mean?
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So I was telling you earlier. I heard about you a couple years ago from the J Bass show. Shout out to J Bass. You know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
he's a podcaster that I look up to, and he's one of the reasons why I started podcasting. You know what I mean? So
Right.
shout out to J
Yeah.
Bass. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, have you ever thought about um Animes is an amazing artist? Has anybody ever said that?
Of course. All the time. All the
Man,
time.
I was like, man, I'm gonna lead off with that just to be funny. But I was like, man, she probably heard that like 100 times. You know what I mean? I was like, man, please tell me you have a song that's called that. That'd be crazy. So you stay in Washington D.C. or you're from there?
Yeah. Yeah. Born and raised in DC.
So my little sister lives in Washington D.C.
What? You're
Yeah, she's been
lying.
she's been there for about a year now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Um, do you know what part of DC?
I don't. I don't even know. But I just know that she loves it, and she said it snowed a lot recently.
It did. It's just been snowing and snowing. I'm honestly so tired of it.
Man, we don't get no snow in Texas, man. So like, man, that's like when I see the pictures of all the snow over there, like I'm real jealous. You know what I mean?
I mean, it comes with cold weather too. I think this morning we were at like 13
Mm,
degrees, so it'd be freezing.
dang, it's been cold over here lately, but like it's like no like
Nothing
no
compared.
snow, no run. It's just dry
Yeah.
coldness. But let's start the people with what was your childhood like? Just real short for them.
What was my childhood like?
Yeah.
That's honestly a really good question because that's always the one that's very hard for me to answer. Um, my childhood, it was a lot. It was a lot of good moments, but it was a lot of hardships as well. Stuff that I bottled in for years. And it isn't until like now that I started going to therapy that I'm able to really heal from everything that I went through. But it was good. I mean, I spent a lot of time, to be honest, as a child, you know, working on music, like since I was a little
Mhm.
girl.
Yeah, you
I would
said your dad.
watch
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would watch shows like Full House. Full House was my favorite
Hey,
show,
Full House.
and
Did you watch Fuller House?
I did watch Fuller House. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, me and my family,
And
we love Full House and Fuller House.
yes, I was a huge fan, and Uncle Jesse is actually the one that taught me how to write a song. Like the
Really?
actual, yeah, like the actual like format of it, because he was the musician of the family. And so he would, talk about how this is the verse, goes into the bridge, the hook, and so I just kind of like copy and pasted, and it just made sense to me. I had an
Mm,
older brother. I still have my older brother, but he did a lot of things like sports, video games. So I grew up kind of on like the tomboy side where you saw me outside skateboarding, playing sports, getting dirty. Like I was with it all. But
yeah.
yeah, it was
So you said that
cool.
your dad was he liked to sing a lot, and your mom used to write poetry.
Yeah, my dad is definitely he grew up in Peru, and what they would do out there is just literally be out on the corner and like freestyle, but in singing. Like they would just
Mhm.
freestyle some shit and just have fun with it. I know his brother was like heavily into that. Like he was like the singer of the family, and my dad likes to say every time that I got that from his brother. And my mom was just she was a heavy writer. Like she would write and write, and she would even write like very long speeches, like I'm talking pages and pages, and she would have to recite that by memory. And I don't even know how she was able to do that because I don't think I could do that. But yeah, so I definitely got a good blend of both for
You
sure.
you have to have a good memory to be a good artist.
Absolutely, absolutely,
That
yeah.
that's the I used to rap back in the Gap. You know what I mean? And that's the only I was a battle rapper,
Oh
and
shit, nice.
you have to have a very good memory for that. You know what I mean? You have to
Mhm.
you have to memorize 3 rounds of content. You know what I mean? And
That makes sense. That makes
and then you
sense.
have to perform it. You know what I mean? So, but it was
Mhm.
I had a horrible memory, so it was so I was
Aw.
not that great of a battle rapper. But but I tried it though.
That's
So
cool.
so why hip hop? Like you were influenced by your mother and father, and you said Full House, Jesse. I've never heard that. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
so why hip hop?
Why hip hop? Well, growing up, I listened to a. It's interesting. I listened to like a mixture of songs. I've listened to like a lot of the '80s, '90s, 2000s. Like I listened to the greats. But
Nice.
I would definitely say whatever. I guess in a sense, I looked up to my brother. So whatever he was listening to, I wanted to listen to the same thing. So it was
Mm,
like a lot of like Biggie, Pac,
let's go.
Eminem, you know. But to be honest, I would definitely say it wasn't until till like senior year of high school where like I wanted to rap. And that was because Logic, he's from Maryland, and at that time he was like buzzing. And he
Mm,
was only one in the city, for me that was doing things differently. Was like he had a plan for what he wanted to do. He would put on showcases at colleges and things like that. He would spam people's messages on Facebook talking about his mixtape, and just the way that he went about it was different. And I ended up going to one of his shows very early on, and he had openers, and it was like a bunch of rappers from the area that I've never heard
mm,
of before, but just like seeing like hip hop take place right before me. I was like, this is it. Like this is me. Like this is what I'm supposed to do. So I kind
yeah.
of like really found my niche, or I found my crowd just by like looking up to not only Logic but also like the up and coming artists that were in my area. So
Mm. So like you fell in love with like seeing people perform on stage. Like when I fell in love
absolutely.
with hip hop, it was all of it. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
freestyling with your friends.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
going on stage and
Hmm.
performing. It was
Yeah.
like doing the little karaoke, spinning over beats type stuff, instrumentals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely just going to these events, and just like seeing everybody just have fun with it. And that was so
Yeah.
new for me. It was different.
Well, I'm very glad you picked up the mic and did hip hop because you've made some great music. I was gonna
Thank
ask you, like,
you.
how important is it, like the art? Music itself is art, right? But the art of making a song, that's what you execute very nicely. Like you know how to,
Yeah.
like your writing is very like it's great writing. You know what I mean? You know how
Yeah.
to capture. Shout out to Lalo, man. That's Carla's brother. You know Lalo, right? Shout out to
Hi,
Lalo in
yeah,
the
of
building.
course.
But like the art of making a song, like how important is that to you?
It is so important for me. It's so important, especially because now we live in a day and age where I feel like that's not valued as much as it once was. So I'm very grateful to have, been around for like a time where it did matter, you know. And just overall, like just me as a person, I've always been the type where I had a lot of feelings and I had a lot of thoughts.
Mm,
And music for me was my form of therapy. Before I even knew that was like therapy to me. It was something that I did. It was something that I could write about how I felt or what I experienced. And in that way I would validate my own truth, you know.
mm,
So storytelling is like super important to me because not only am I helping other people and impacting other people's lives, but it also heals me. And
mm.
it doesn't feel right in my body and my soul to do something that just doesn't align with what I believe in.
Let's go.
So yeah,
That's where the substance comes from, right? That's why you have substance in your music, and I think a lot of people
absolutely.
lack that. I think we moved too fast, and a lot of people just accepted this new age of hip hop where there was no substance. But then now we're
Absolutely.
now we're 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 seeing people like Nas, people like other great artists that their music is timeless.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? People like
Absolutely.
I think we all forgot. I mean, a lot of people, Lil Uzi and a Lil Pump, they still got a big fan base, but their music isn't timeless. When you think about great hits, you're
Yeah.
not thinking about
Yeah.
maybe some of these young kids, maybe yeah, but
Yeah.
like music with substance is timeless.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Shit hits different. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. I definitely feel like I agree with you in the sense where we have moved really fast, especially when it came down to streaming. I think too much of anything can be bad, and I
Right.
feel like we've definitely gotten to that point where
Mm.
Now people, I'll
That's
drop
good.
a song like a week ago. Like I dropped How We Do It like not too long ago. And
Yes.
people are already asking for the next one. And it's just like appreciate the music
I
like
know,
while it's
like we're
out,
moving. Yes, we're moving too fast. Like chill,
Yeah.
appreciate it, bump it, show your people. Like like
Yeah.
absorb the music and
Hmm.
live with the music. You know what I mean? Like, God
Yeah.
dang, they just want a new sound. They want a new sound. They want to see something
Every
different.
single time. Yeah.
Crazy kids, that's it out here. Did you ghostwrite for Little Kim?
I definitely I was definitely a part of like co-writing. I wouldn't say I wrote the entire thing, but I was definitely a part of the song called Bag, for sure. For
How
sure.
big is that?
That
Like
was that was really big.
writing with Little Kim. That is like the most.
That was
That is just
yeah.
crazy.
It is
The-
pretty crazy. But to be honest, I it was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it meant a lot to me because she was, and she still is, but she's like such a genuine person.
Mm,
When you're in this industry, you come across a lot of people that are just very to themselves. They think of themselves very highly, whatever. But she was very kind, and she wanted me to be a part of the process. She believed in me enough, to have me there. So I was very grateful for that, and even after the fact, like, because she knew I did music too, but even after the fact, like, she was telling me, like, it's your turn, like, it's your time, like, to also remind me, like, bitch, you're an artist too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it was definitely really nice. It was really nice working with her.
How did she find you?
So actually my producer, Mark Henry, he, for a little bit, he was out in New York and he was working with Fabulous, and Fabulous is good friends with Kim, with a whole lot of people. And so he met Kim through him. So
Okay. Have you
yeah.
wrote for anybody else?
I have actually. I wrote for a couple of Latin artists.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you speak Spanish very well, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah, you
try.
do. You make good music in both languages as well. You really do.
Absolutely.
Um, so I said, Latinas and Latinos in hip hop. Is that like, do they accept us? Is it hard for Latino and Latina to strive in hip hop?
It's definitely hard. It's definitely hard because I feel like a huge part of it is that a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of us. Like, we come from different places. I think we're slowly starting to get there, but I just feel like there has to be like the right kind of power players to know how to embrace Latino artists and at the same time not make us like gimmicky or stand out like a sore thumb. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? It's like the same way that I feel about being, a female rapper. It's like you keep putting female in front of the rapper, but at
mm.
the end of the day, I'm just a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
So I definitely think that it's gotten a lot better. Um, but yeah, I think that's just something that's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of
Yeah.
time for
Yeah.
people to
And then people are tripping. Like, I mean, it's 2025.
yeah.
Get over it, man. If you make good music, you make good music. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
people is tripping. Your rap name used to be Yo Smiley.
Yes, it did. Yes. Hmm.
Is that what? Why is that? Well, how did you get that name?
I got that name on accident, to be honest. So it was around the time where like I met Logic, right? And so
Mm.
he became like a really good mentor to me. And my Instagram profile at that time was Ayo Smiley, because everybody around the way would just call me Smiley. I smile a lot, right? And so I would start like uploading freestyles on YouTube. I would just do like remixes to a bunch of different songs. I did a remix to 93 Till Infinity by Souls of Mischief. And
Where is that song? I can't even find it.
what, like my version?
Yeah, your version.
It's
My
on
my bad. Yeah,
private.
oh, it's on private.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
I was because I
I
saw that in the
definitely,
interview and I was trying to Google the crap out of it. I could
I
not find it. Like,
know, I
God dang
know,
it.
I know. I gotta definitely figure out how to get back into that account and make it public
Right.
because it impacted everything for me. So I did that. Logic saw it and he was proud. He was impressed. And so he posted it on all of his social media platforms
Mm.
and it went viral. And ever
Are you,
since then,
go ahead. Sorry.
that's when I started doing music. And that's actually how Reverie found out about me.
Through Logic?
Through, no, just going
Oh,
viral. I don't think it
oh,
was
going
through
viral from
Logic
the
per se,
song.
but just
Okay.
like going viral. Yeah.
So, man, so that's a good segue to my next question. You worked with Reverie and Karlaaa. Shout out to
Mhm.
Karlaaa. She represents the hometown. She lives in my town, Midland. So shout out to Karlaaa. But Reverie, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of all three of you. But
Mhm.
Reverie, like, she's man, I've been a fan of her for like a decade. Like,
Mhm.
how was it working with a goat like that?
Honestly, when I first met her around that time, like she was already doing it. Like she
Yeah.
was like doing big things. And at that time, like I was just doing like remixes, you know. I hadn't gotten to a point where I had a producer or created my own song, you know, from a original beat, you know. So that was one of like the first piece of advice that I got from her
Mm,
was um at some point you have to make your own original songs, you know.
mm.
And but I think even back then we did a song together. I think it was called like Supposed to Be. Um but yeah, she was just super nice. And that was also very new just because I'm coming into like this field not knowing what to expect. And she was just embracing me, you know, and her being just like another female artist that meant a lot, you know, because there wasn't a lot of us, especially like a lot of, you know, Latin artists that were doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was
A
definitely
lot of
nice.
people
She was,
a lot of people don't know that Reverie she's big overseas too.
oh yeah.
In Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So
She's,
working with Karlaaa, how'd you like working with Karlaaa?
I love Karlaaa. I love Karlaaa to pieces so fucking much. I think I can't remember the first time I heard of her. I want to say I found out about her maybe like two something years ago, 2, 3 years ago. I can't remember. Um, but I remember her sound being different. Because she's not from Texas, but she lives there,
Yeah,
right?
but she's been admit like yeah, she says that man, but I always tell her we claim her. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
she
at the end of the
she
day,
was
y'all flavor.
she was born in Muskegon, Michigan,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she lived here in Texas for a long time.
yeah. So I had lived out in Texas for a little bit, and she just didn't sound like a Texas rapper to me. Like she didn't
Mm.
like she had like a different
Whole
style, but it
different
was a
style.
style,
Yeah.
yeah. And I loved it. And one thing that I really love about her is like she makes real ass music. She
Mm.
makes real ass music and it bumps. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's real
I don't
hard to do,
know.
right?
Huh?
It's hard to do, right?
That's so hard to do. That is
Mm.
so hard to do to be able to balance the two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I love that about her. And then I met her back in, I want to say that was like end of summer 2023 because we were both doing a show out in Dallas. And she's a fucking sweetheart, bro. I love that shit. Like she's so fucking kind. She's to herself, you know, and she's just focused and about her business, you know.
Yeah.
But I love Karlaaa. I love Karlaaa so much. Like her music is super dope. I'm super excited for her. I really want to see her win. Like I really, really do. It's
Mm.
just something about her that just makes me feel like thank you, bro. Like thank you.
Mm.
I don't know.
Facts. When I saw that y'all made a song together, you, Reverie, and Karlaaa, I was tripping. I was like, this is like the perfect matchup. Like that was a
Yeah.
beautiful get together, man, and it's a beautiful song too. It was
Mm-hmm.
great, man. Y'all killed it definitely. Um, so talk about the music industry. How has the music industry been to you since you started?
It's been it's been a hell of a journey. It's been a mixture of good and bad. It's
Oh,
been a lot, you know. I feel like a lot of people look at the outside of things, like the perception, and they see that, oh, it's all fun, it's all turn up, it's all this, but it's like it's a lot of business too. And it's a lot of business with people that may or may not have good intentions, you
mm,
know? And that's so hard to find. Like a group of people that understand, that aren't trying to change you, but are trying to help you evolve to your true self. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But a lot of people fold along the way, because they have their own motives. Um, and I've dealt with that a whole lot, like when I first came up, I was signed to an independent label. I was young. This was my first go around, and I got bitten ass at the end of the day,
Talking
at
about
the end of
street
the day.
science.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, like I ended up just realizing that as much as people can try to throw the word family around, it doesn't mean that they actually mean it,
Yeah,
So,
that's facts, man. People they abuse that word, man. Till
mhm,
it's lost meaning. You know what I mean? Family takes care of
absolutely.
each other like no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
wild, man. How was it working with Frankie J?
With who?
Frankie J.
Oh, Frankie J.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is
That
my
was
mic
like a
low?
dream come true. It like broke up a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're fine. But working with Frankie J was a fucking dream come true. Like I love Frankie J, and shout out to Gotos for making that shit happen. Um but man, when I was in the studio with him and he was working on the verse and stuff, like just like hearing him in the booth, like sound like perfection. Like I feel like the first time he stepped in there and he did the first line, I was like, that's the one. But he kept going and going. I'm just like, oh damn, it just gets better and better. But honestly, it was so much fun. It was even like really nice to work on the verse with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
To have somebody like him, like care about like, okay, what do you think? Or like,
mm,
we're going back and forth on ideas on the next line on a melody or something. And it was just like a really beautiful experience. Like I'm
yeah.
in the room with a goat, and it was definitely a very like validating moment for sure.
Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now. What's up, chat, man? Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the comment. If y'all want to ask Animaze a question, do it right now, okay? We don't have her all night, guys. So put a question in the comment section. So let's go to oh, I wanted to say you have the best mannerisms and video presence than any other artist that I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
For real, like you kill it when you're on camera. You're just like you're on it. You know what I mean? It's very entertaining to
Oh,
watch. For real,
I
good job.
appreciate that. I spent
Yeah.
lots of years, growing up looking at myself in the mirror with, the brush as my microphone. So I had lots of practice.
Okay. God. So you mentioned you were in therapy, and how was that? And why did you need therapy for?
Therapy, um, very life changing. It was something that I kind of wish I would have started sooner, you know. But I started therapy top of 2022 because months before that I got out of an abusive relationship. Um, and that was
That's what that's don't forget to mention.
yes, that's don't forget to mention. So it was a lot. It was a lot to process, like how did I get there? Like, how did I get to that point? Because I used to be one of those people that would say could never be me. Like, you
Mm,
got me fucked up, could never be me.
yeah.
And I ended up in a situation like that. And granted, it was only for like 3, 4 months, but to even think that in just that small amount of time, the amount of shit that happened to me, um, it really changed me entirely. Like I felt like there was a huge part of myself that I probably still won't get back. Like
Mm,
as much as I work on, myself and my confidence, that innocence was taken away from me. So, yeah, so I went to therapy and it's been great, like learning how to face my triggers,
mm,
work on my PTSD from that. Um and embark on like newer relationships or newer friendships or work
mm.
relationships. So it's definitely helped a lot.
You have
Yeah,
PTSD from that relationship.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you
Yeah.
still going through that?
Yeah, I don't think that's something that I'll ever get over. I think that's something that it happened, and I've learned to come to terms with it being a normal thing if I happen to get triggered, by something, or every now and then I'll be outside and there'll be something about the setting or a person that'll remind me and take me back to a moment that happened.
Mm,
But I think the good thing is that I've learned ways to cope, to
mm,
manage and soothe my emotions when I do feel these things. So,
mm. What
yeah.
advice can you give to a young woman that was like, it's in the same situation?
Um, I would definitely say, first and foremost, you're not crazy. You're not crazy no matter what this person is telling you. Um, and to come up with a safe exit plan. Most important,
Mm,
because a lot of people think it's so easy to say, oh, why didn't you just leave? But you don't really know the circumstances that they're in. Like a lot of people have kids with these kind of guys, or, rely financially on these people. So it's not just as easy to just get up and go, you know?
mm,
So definitely take that time to come out with a safe exit plan. There are a bunch of resources, in your area. You can just search it up. I've went on TikTok when I was, going through it, just looking for like different kinds of resources or just pieces of advice, and take your time and just try to document everything safely. So,
nice.
yeah.
Appreciate that. So in the song, don't forget to mention, you said this is the hook. Loved you more than I loved myself.
Hmm.
Could you go on? Could you explain that? Like,
Yeah. Um, and this is, what I was saying a little bit earlier about how I wish I would have went to therapy sooner.
yeah.
Um, because I do feel like there's probably like a huge part of my childhood that kind of created this people pleaser in me,
Mm,
to the point where I've learned to put everybody else's needs and feelings before mine, as if it was more important than my own.
mm,
So when that happened, it was definitely like a moment where I had to really like take a look at myself, like,
mm.
I really loved you more than I loved myself, that I allowed this to happen and to continue, you know? So,
Man, that's crazy. But you are a survivor, though, and you're here right now,
yes.
and you're smiling. You have great music, so you are a survivor, and you're strong for it. I have so much respect for you.
Thank you
Just
so
like
much.
learning about you more, with this interview and seeing what you've been doing with your music. Like I have a lot of respect for you, man, for real. And I hope the best for you because you are a survivor. You're tough. You're strong, and
Thank
you're
you.
an amazing artist.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a little play on her name, guys. So excuse my corny joke. All right, animes and amazing. I thought I had bars. You know what I mean? And she told me she heard it like 100 times already. So I didn't have no bars. So then you said he likes to play. He's playing the victim.
Hmm.
Do men do that a lot in an abusive relationship?
Yes. Especially like these narcissistic abusive relationships, they definitely like to cause the problem and then turn around and play the victim when you catch them, or when you put them on blast. And this person in particular, who's an artist also, because we used to do music together, he definitely publicly tried to smear my name and change the narrative and played the victim in front of so many people.
An artist?
Hmm.
What was the situation about?
Um, what do you mean?
Why? How come he aired you out? Like, why was he?
He the moment that I left, he
Oh no!
definitely.
Oh. So he was. Oh, you were in a relationship with him,
I was in a relationship with him. Yeah,
and he was an artist. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and that was one of the reasons why I moved out to Texas too, because he's from Fort Worth. And so when I left, he definitely tried to smear my name all over the internet, come up with music, acting like the victim and stuff like that. And yeah, I think to this day, I'm kind of like a little bit mad at myself too, because I could have definitely pressed charges and I wish I would have, looking back. But in those like moments, like, you're scared, You believe the threats that this person told you. You stay quiet, you stay out the way because you don't know what could happen. So yeah, he definitely tried to play the victim, and till this day he still does.
Dang, man. Shout out to Mike Murder. He said that he's been following you since the Ayo Smiley days.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And he also said, "Here's the coming out on the other side of things."
Absolutely.
Mike Murder is a veteran rapper from my area, so he's
Okay,
real.
I think, have I met him?
You
I don't
probably have. He's back in the days. He was a vet. He was rocking shows all over the place. So I'm sure you met him.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Murder. Yeah, he was a dope rapper. He's vet out of this area. He's a fan of yours, so I got you, Mike Murder. I got you back, bro. Shouted
Hmm.
you out. So so you said if you didn't leave when you did, you would have stayed. Like that's a very powerful statement. You know what I mean? Some girls just don't know when to leave. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, find an exit.
Yeah.
How important is that, man, to just leave the situation?
It's so important, it's so important. So when I left, there was like a lot of situations before that where I wanted to leave, but I held on to the hope, because after they're really bad, they're really, really good.
Mm,
And I knew for a fact that if I didn't leave in that moment, I would have stayed with that person because that person was going to propose to me the next month.
oh man.
And knowing myself, and it takes a lot of self-awareness. Like you have to know
Mm,
yourself. Knowing myself, I would have said yes, and I would have stayed, and it would have been 10 times harder to get out, you know.
mm,
So definitely, when I feel like once you start feeling deep down that something's off, once you start feeling yourself craving the good guy,
mm,
that's when it's like that's not the type of relationship you want to be in. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's hot and cold, you know?
mm.
Somebody that doesn't take accountabilities, that just kind of like strings you along. So,
Gotcha. Hey, there was some great acting in that video.
thank
Like
you.
you were acting your ass off. How did you like acting? Is that a thing that you want to pursue as well?
Acting is definitely something that I want to pursue for sure. Absolutely.
Because you killed it. Like
Um,
even your TikToks, like the way you do your TikToks,
uh-huh.
you're acting all the time. So I think you should definitely pursue that because you're a very great actor for real. I
I
got
appreciate
goosebumps.
that.
I got goosebumps when I watched that video. Like it was wild.
It was definitely like reliving it, to be honest. Like,
Mm,
to have to like tap back into that. And to be honest, even when I was shooting in for don't forget to mention that part where I was shooting the group therapy session.
yes.
So when I came back, my therapist like offered, we have group therapy sessions as well, where everybody, tells their story. And I told her that I didn't want to do that because I feel like saying it out loud makes it real. And it's something that I wasn't ready for. And so when I did that for the music video, I was actually really crying, like, because it really felt like, oh shit, like this really happened to me. And everybody that was in my video were people that I've known for years. And so these are people that have always known me to be animes, this sexy boss, Latina. Like everybody looked up to me as if I had everything all together. I was this perfect person. And for me to really put my guard down like that, it made what happened to me very, very real. So although like we uh basically recreated what happened to me on one of the occasions, um it was almost as if I was like going through it again. So it really wasn't something that I had to really push myself to act out, because it's like I'm really reliving what I did. And there was a lot of moments where we had to take breaks, where the guy that was playing my ex, he was like shook, because even though for him it was acting, he was shook that even like in acting, he could take it to that level.
Mm,
And I think that was very reassuring to me because they were all like, yo, Anna, this is bad. Like, this is really what you went through. And it
man.
was reassuring for me because when I was going through it, one of the things that my ex would say to me was like, you don't know abuse. That's not abuse. And so I doubted myself. I doubted what I actually went through because this person made me believe that this wasn't abuse. Like,
Mm.
So to see like people react that way, it was like, okay, I'm not crazy after all, you
Mm,
know? Yeah.
nice. Okay, thank you for that. But let's get positive now, okay? Let's get positive now, all right? You have 448,000 followers on TikTok. How did you
Yes.
do that? Congratulations on that, man. I
Thank
love your
you.
skits. I've watched all your skits. They're dope, man. I like it. How did you
I
do that?
appreciate it. Just being myself. Honestly, just I definitely turned my pain into power, and things that I've learned on my own just by reflecting, or things that I've learned in therapy sessions, like the same way I would tell my stories through songs, I would tell them through motivational speeches.
Mm,
And at first it literally started off with just me being on my phone and making a video giving advice to myself, trying
mm,
to like give myself daily affirmations, and I uploaded it and it went crazy. And I just continue that, because I saw how impactful it was to other people, and other people started coming out with their stories, and that gave me courage to come out with mine, so
mm.
yeah.
That's nice. And you got 171,000 followers on Instagram. Instagram is freaking hard, bro. It's
It is.
like I've done very good on YouTube and Facebook, and
Mhm.
Instagram is freaking hard. The algorithm, I don't know what the heck. I can't figure it out. But I'm actually starting to, because I actually my Instagram account was actually hacked, and I had a
Um,
few thousand followers, and that was like a big hard hit to me. But
yeah,
I'm starting to build back up, and I just got to be consistent, right?
absolutely.
How important?
Absolutely.
How important is the consistency as an artist?
It's so important. It's very important. But it can definitely be very, very draining. Especially if like this is something, whether it's like your full time or even something that you're trying to make your full time. It's very exhausting. And because we don't necessarily have like a scheduled 9 to 5 when it comes to, the craft, it's something that we have to learn how to manage,
Mm,
because as easy as it is to like go viral and blow up and consistently always push out content, it's very easy for us to not take care of our mental health as well,
mm,
to kind of like get lost in you know worrying about what people say, or worrying about what people think, or what the next person is doing. It's very easy to get lost into that. So it's
mm.
definitely a lot of work. Be consistent, but most importantly, just make sure you're okay too.
Yeah, yeah. Facts,
Yeah.
facts. Who won? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Oh my God. It's so crazy because I was a huge fan of Drake. I was a huge fan of Drake, but Kendrick definitely took that.
He took that
Kendrick
right.
definitely took that. 100%. 100%.
And now that Drake is suing him, Drake took the big, in my opinion, he took the biggest L in hip hop ever.
Yeah, honestly, because yeah, bro, that's definitely the biggest L ever. I'm honestly a little bit, not a little bit. I'm really disappointed in him making that decision, because it's like, really, bro? Like the
He's
fuck?
he's disrespecting the culture. Like
Absolutely.
he's
Absolutely.
spitting on the culture.
Exactly.
He's not accepting that he lost the battle.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Absolutely.
Man, man, there's do you watch battle rap? Have you ever watched a rap battle?
Here and there.
Okay, so battle rap is a big thing. Shout out to URL, there's grind time, there's there's battle rap leagues, and these rappers, it's a lot. They're separated from artists, right? A battle rapper is a whole different type of deal. You have no beat, you have a huge crowd, and you're insulting a person the whole entire time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think battle rap is one of the purest forms of hip hop. And
absolutely.
people will say the worst things to each other, right? And these battle rappers, I'm talking about, they'll say, they'll talk about family members and everything. And it's just going at it. And at the end of the battle, they shake hands and they hug each other.
Absolutely.
Because it's they're professional. You know what I mean? And they
Absolutely.
respect the craft, they respect the culture. And
Yeah.
Drake, he just spat all over that, man. It was really hard to
Yeah.
see, man. It was
Yeah.
really, really hard to see, man. The,
Hmm.
my favorite songs from you are These Days, Where the Bag At,
Hmm.
and Deja Vu,
Oh,
and
nice.
Warning. Warning is fire.
Love that.
I'm not a player beat. You know what I mean?
Love that.
I was working with Krystall on Where the Bag At. That song was a freaking masterpiece. It deserves a whole bunch of more freaking views. The video was 100%. Like the way y'all attack the beat, the way you attack the beat, the way you change your voice, and you know what I mean. That some pricey. I used to like y'all.
Yeah.
The thing, it was so catchy, and I loved. I watched it like 20 times. You know what I mean? How was
Yeah.
it working with Crystal Poppin?
That was super dope. Honestly, working with Krystall was definitely something that was like long overdue. I think before that record, I met her like 2 years prior. And nah, bro, like it was definitely long overdue. I was so excited that she wanted to get on it, that she loved the record. We even took it as far as like did like a little mini East Coast tour, so I brought her to like my side of
I
town and
I
everything.
remember that.
Yeah, but no, I feel like it was definitely needed for the culture, because nobody was doing that, like nobody was like doing songs with like females, you know what I'm saying? Especially like Latin artists. So I
Yeah.
feel like we definitely set a standard, we set a trend, like we normalized it, so it's definitely needed for the culture so much. I loved it so much.
That's dope. So you were staying in Houston for a while, right?
Hmm.
Why did you leave? Why did you go back?
Um, so I was staying out in Houston for about a year, and I went back just because, aside from the fact that I missed my city, two, I just felt like it didn't make sense anymore.
Mm.
At least not for that time period. You know, my team, majority of my team, like my producer, my engineer, my videographer, photographer, everybody lives on this side. So out there it was like
Mm.
it was a little bit harder to be consistent. Also to even find the right team. It's so hard to
Yeah.
find the right team, and in my head it's just like, why try to fix something that isn't broken? I got a whole team back home. At the end of the day, everything pops off on social media, so really it doesn't really
Mm.
matter where I'm at necessarily. If I got to
That's
take a
that's
trip, I'll take a trip.
that's very true. So what? Never Die wasn't doing his job or what?
He was not. I think he necessarily wasn't manager material. I think it was more so like he wanted to do his best. He wanted to try something. I was, me, I'm always willing to give people a shot. I think a lot of the times I move off of like first base energy. So it's like if I feel
Mm.
like, you're cool people's like, and we're both passionate about something, we get it, cool, we'll work together. But if at the end of the day it just don't mesh, then it's just like, why force something that's just not meant to be? Like, you want to be an artist, you got to focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to try to take you from that? It didn't make sense. So
Okay, cool. You were very good at interviews. You answered very, very good, man. You don't know how much people I've interviewed, and I have to like take them back to the topic and just like go crazy. So
oh
you're like
yeah, I've been doing
you're
this for a
media
long
trained.
time.
Yeah, you've been
I've
doing
been
it for a
doing
long
this for a
time.
long time.
Well, Animates, man, thank you for your time so much. I really appreciate you,
Truly.
man. We was on for about 40 minutes, and I know you're a busy woman. You're a working artist, so I really appreciate your time. And I'm so happy that you did this with me.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate the in-depth questions. Like, you have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been interviewing for a while, and I always try to find a different way to do it every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Re-
100%.
reinventing yourself is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? No matter how
No.
old you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Animes all the way from Washington D.C. in the
Yeah.
building, man. Keep on making music, okay? When you there's gonna be days why when you feel like quitting, right? I know I'm sure you
Mhm.
had those days.
Of
Just remember
course.
right now, don't do it because you are one of the best I've ever heard. You are
Oh,
one of the best artists for real. You make great music, and it's just undeniable.
appreciate
Please
that.
keep on doing what you're doing. Don't quit. Keep on going. I'm gonna support every single time. Every time you make a drop, send it to me. I'm gonna react to it.
Oh,
How about
I
that?
love that.
All
Yes.
right.
Thank you so
Please
much.
stay up, man, because what you're doing, music wise, is 100% right, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Keep doing it. Keep
Thank you
going.
so much. I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate you.
For sure. Okay, thank you for your time so much, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody who commented. I appreciate everybody who shared, who liked, all that good stuff. Don't forget, this is Smokes World Media, man. It's always going down. I go live every week. I have interviews. I do reaction videos. I do skits. I do all kinds of crazy stuff. So, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you for chilling with your boy Smokes, and thank you for tuning in to Smokes World. We out.